All right, welcome back to another active recovery session. My name is Shane Lakins. Today I'm going to be taking you through some hip mobility exercises and a little bit of ankle mobility. So without further ado, the objective with these exercises is not to necessarily break out into a sweat. They should be fairly easy to do. You'll also be challenged potentially with some balance. So the important piece of that, now you, again, absolutely can do this working with balance. But if your balance is compromising it so that you can't do the exercise, then you're going to need to do a different version of it. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do it. The first exercise that we're going to do 3 again. So each of these movements we're going to do for 30 seconds. There is a direction and obviously there is a side to it. So we're going to do one direction of each and one direction of each side. So with that, the first exercise is a dynamic leg circle. Okay, so you can do this standing. So basically, I'm on a bit of a foam pad here, so it's a little bit more challenging, even more so on the balance side of things. And you're essentially going to go around, and I put a bag here just to kind of give you a bit of a reference. So the objective here is to just kind of go around. And again, you don't want to do a big lean. You're trying to stay as centered as possible. You're going to, again, be really challenged with the balance on this side of things. Obviously, the other way is to go back and around. Now again, you can reset yourself every time. If you're balanced enough and you feel comfortable enough with it, you can go around and just keep on going. The alternative way to do this, I'll just kick this out of the way, is to lie down. And again, the bottom leg can be bent, and what you're going to be doing is just going to be doing that same circle. So we're going to go backwards to start, okay? And you're just going to circle around like so. Okay? Now, you're going to really be tempted to want to rotate these hips. Okay? Keep that pelvis rock solid. In fact, you can even put your hand in front if that's helpful to kind of balance yourself and stabilize yourself. So we're trying to make a big circle here with the leg, and obviously we're going to go the opposite direction the second time around. So that's the first exercise. So that's dynamic leg circles. The second one, you can do this from a sitting position or a standing position. I'm going to show it sitting first. And it literally is, you're just sitting here, you're doing a hip windshield wiper. Now we've done ankle windshield wipers. This one is the hip version. So the hip is a ball and socket. It has a lot of range of motion with it. What we're trying to do is just externally rotate it and internally rotate it. We're not trying to do anything with the ankle or the knee. The knee's a hinge, definitely shouldn't be doing that. Okay, so it's basically just going in and out. And you're just trying to use the toes as the hands of a clock as it goes around. Okay, so just going in and out. Now, if it feels a little bit more comfortable to put it out a little bit, that's fine too. Again, just recognize you're gonna have some different feelings depending on where you put it. But start it with the feet straight down, and you're only gonna do one leg at a time. Really want you to focus in on that. And again, it's not ankle, okay? Right now, there's no hip movement, okay? Lock that ankle in and go with that. Now, the way to do it standing is you're just gonna get yourself in a position here, and you're just gonna lock, and you're gonna turn. You're gonna turn that heel and grind that heel towards the ground like that. Okay, the toe is up, and we're just internally rotating, externally rotating the hip. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, so that you can do it standing or lying down, whichever is easier. The last one is what's referred to as search and destroy calf stretch. And what I often refer to it as ankle mobilizer. And so it's ankle mobilization. So I'm going to show it on this side because it's a little easier. So you're going to get yourself into a 90-90 position. Knee is straight underneath your hips. And what you're going to do is you're going to shift your weight forward until this heel feels like it wants to come off the ground. If the heel comes off the ground, you've gone too far. Okay, so basically just figure out kind of where that is. And you're gonna find that maybe one's a little bit better than the other. Now, I've had surgery on this one, so I've got a plate and a couple screws in it. This one is a little bit more challenging than the other side. So if you do recognize that there's a difference, that's okay. One of the exercises I did in my rehab was to actually put my toe up against a wall and to slide my knee and try and touch the wall. Okay? Early on, I couldn't get to the wall, and eventually I was able to slide away from the wall and get into this position here. So it's a good way to test it, and then you can also see how far your toe is away from the wall. So if you're trying to assess it, that's the way you can do it. So that's the easiest way to do that. You can also do it obviously up against a wall and doing the ankle mobilizer that way. But for now, we'll get started with those 3. I'll get the timer started, and then we're off to the races. All right. So dynamic leg circles, here we go. I'm gonna do lying down the first one. Going backwards, just big circle. That's away. And again, don't let those hips rotate. And if you're standing up, doing the standing up version, again, feel free to kind of put your foot down each time you come around. It's a big circle. You're trying to make as big a circle as you can. All right, that's good. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the windshield wipers. We're gonna stay on that same side. So we're on the right side. We're gonna stay on the right side with this one here too. Okay, and I'm gonna rotate. I'm gonna do the sitting down version of these the first time through. Going kind of, this one obviously there's not a backwards and forwards, just internal, external. That's it. Really focus on the end point, either direction. Now you're gonna have a little bit more range of motion externally than you will internally. Okay. That's natural. Good, okay. Ankle mobilization, okay? Here we go. Gonna be on that same side, same right side. 90-90 here, gonna shift forward. Hands can even go down if you feel you need to. But again, don't let that heel come up. Just go as far as you can. Okay, feel that good stretch in there. You can come off of it a little bit and then reset, come back in again. You don't have to stay there the whole 30 seconds, but that heel has to stay on the ground. Good, okay. All right, so we got a little bit of a break as we switch to the other side. I'm gonna do the same sequence this time. Okay, so we're gonna be lying down, doing hip circles, going forward. And again, if you want to do the one standing up, that's quite fine. Now, I tend to bend my bottom leg, and that'll help with the stabilization of the hips. You can also do it here. That makes it a little bit harder to keep those hips stabilized. Okay, so here we go. Good, big circles. That's away. Again, focus on keeping those hips square. All the movement happens at the hip joint. There's no knee bend, there's no ankle, there's no toes, nothing happening other than just that long lever at the hip. Good. All right, back onto the front side here now. So now we're gonna do the left leg. Okay, and it's just internal, external rotation. Now you may find yourself flexing the toe towards your shin a little bit. That's probably just a natural stiffening of that ankle a little bit to try and help you not have it moving around when you're trying to focus only on the hip movement. Okay? Hands are there to stabilize. Just in, turn, hand of a clock, just turning. Good. Okay, now we're gonna switch over to the ankle mobilization on the left-hand side. Okay, same thing, up tall, leaning forward. So you've probably heard, oh, you should never take your knee over top of your toes, that's a bad thing. Again, not necessarily the issue here. This is actually an ankle mobilization exercise to increase mobility in the ankle, so you do have to get that through. Again, it's questionable whether even under load, depending on kind of how far your knees go ahead. That's just the way you squat. That's what happens. So again, letting that calf try and relax. You can come off a couple times. And there we go. All right, so that's the sitting down version through the first round for me. I'm gonna go the opposite. This time I'm gonna stand up for them. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go the opposite direction. So if you were going kind of backwards, we're gonna go forward. I was going backwards, so I'm gonna go forward. All right, so here we are. For me, I usually just put hands on the hip, give myself enough room to put my foot down when it comes through. And here we go. Okay, good. Just try and keep your torso up straight, going around. And again, if you don't have something to go around that's kind of like the bag that I've got here, you can just pick anything. A ball could be there. You can put a towel on the ground. You can see that it really challenges the balance for sure when you're on an unstable surface like this pad here that I've got. Okay, just going around. Excellent. All right, windshield wiper. I'm gonna do it from a standing position this time. Now I've seen people do it kind of with the toe. I don't find that as effective. I think heel is a better way to go. And again, you're just internal, external, okay? Bring that toe up towards your shin. That kind of locks the heel kind of where it is. We're gonna be doing heel in the next exercise. So just internal, external. Good. Again, really try and push those limits on the internal and external side. Just get to that spot. Hold it there for a sec, really try and get something a little bit more out of it, okay? Then the last one on this one, get them back down into that mobilization on the right side. See if you can get a little bit further on this one this time. Now if you're doing it right, you're gonna feel a little bit of tightness in the front of the shin. You know, we've been saying, you know, we wanna kind of get to the calf, the Achilles tendon, and the ankle here, but you're gonna definitely feel a contraction of that shin. And that's the muscle that's trying to work to bring your toe up towards your shin. The Achilles tendon and the calf, more the soleus in this case, is doing the exercise or doing the stretch part of this. So really trying to stretch this out. Good. Okay. So back up. I'll switch sides here. And you could use anything kind of that you've got available to you. Now, what you're gonna find is in the standing position, one side's probably gonna be a little bit better balance-wise than the other. This is the surgically repaired ankle for me, so this one's always a little bit more challenging to do. I'm continuing to work on it, but it is what it is. So, here we go. Good. And there I go. As I said, very challenging on a pad, and on this side for sure for me. I find going forward a lot harder circles than going backwards. I feel like I really want to re-weight myself and put a little bit more lean on it, and I'm trying to avoid that. There we go. That was a challenge. All right, same thing. Heel down, legs straight. Everything's going through the hip. Here we go. Internal, external. Again, you may find the glute is firing a little bit on this one, on this exercise, just trying to get you into that external position. Okay, so just go with it. It all works. However you can kind of figure that out to get that range of motion. You're going to feel some muscles contracting that's like, oh, I don't really remember that happening before. Okay? That's all part of this deal of trying to figure out things as you do this mobilization exercise. Okay? Now what we're gonna do, get that knee far forward as we can. And again, if you were thinking about putting your foot up against the wall or away from the wall and you push your knee into the wall, that's your objective, is trying to get that foot as far back away from the wall and the knee into the wall as you can without having that heel come up off the ground. Last little bit. Awesome. All right, great job. So, quick and easy. Very efficient way to work on hip mobility and ankle mobility all at the same time. So with that, that's your mobility session for today. We'll look forward to the next session together. See you next time.